This is Global Ummah Unity, faith, history, and truth in one voice.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Today, we invite you to discover a lesser-known but vital truth, that Islam, a faith followed by over 1.9 billion people, promotes a deep spiritual commitment to environmental justice and harmony with nature. This is not a new idea. Over 1,400 years ago, long before the United Nations or climate conferences existed, the Quran laid out timeless principles of balance, stewardship, and responsibility toward the earth.
That's right. While many associate Islam with rituals or politics, few realize how deeply it embeds ecological ethics into its worldview. In Islam, the earth is sacred. It's not a resource to exploit, but a trust, an amana, granted by God. This trust requires accountability. The Quran says in Surah Al-Rahman 55:7-8, "And the heaven he raised and set the balance, so do not transgress in the balance." This balance, mizan, refers not only to justice in human dealings, but the cosmic and ecological equilibrium God has created.
In Islam, humans are called khalifah, stewards or vice-regents, on earth. This means we are caretakers, not owners. We are part of creation, not above it. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2:30, God says, "I will place a vice-regent upon the earth." This isn't a privilege, it's a responsibility.
Exactly. A true steward respects every creature. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed this through his actions. He warned against wasting water, even if you're by a river. He told us to plant trees, even on the Day of Judgment. He stopped the killing of animals for sport. He created protected areas called himma, where no trees could be cut and wildlife was preserved. These aren't just spiritual ideals, they're concrete ecological principles.
In fact, the Prophet said, "The earth has been made for me as a mosque and a purifier." Sahih Muslim. This means the earth is sacred. Wherever you stand on holy ground. To harm it is to break your connection with the divine.
Let's look at the Prophet's love for trees. He said, "If a Muslim plants a tree or sows seeds, and then a bird or a person or an animal eats from it, it is regarded as charity." Bukhari, Muslim. Isn't that beautiful? Every living thing benefits from a tree, and that benefit becomes sadaqah, a continuous act of goodness.
Water, too, held a special place in the Prophet's teachings. He warned against wasting water, even when performing ablution. And during his time, community wells were public, not to be privatized or hoarded. Water was a right, not a luxury.
The Prophet also established haram zones, areas around water sources that were to remain untouched by overuse or pollution. He wasn't just a spiritual leader, he was a social reformer and environmental policymaker. This is the foundation of Eco-Islam, a blend of sacred values and practical rules to protect the earth.
Now let's talk about history. From the 8th to the 15th century, Muslim scholars were pioneers in environmental science, agriculture, and sustainability. Take Al-Biruni. He studied geology, hydrology, and ecosystems. Or Ibn al-Haytham, the father of optics, who insisted on scientific observation of the natural world.
In Muslim Spain, Al-Andalus, cities like Cordoba and Granada had green public spaces, advanced irrigation, and waste recycling systems. The Alhambra gardens weren't just stunning, they were sustainable ecosystems. Muslim engineers built underground water channels called qanats, which are still used today in Iran and Morocco.
Muslim civilizations treated water, air, soil, and animals as gifts, not commodities. There was a respect for nature that was spiritual, scientific, and social. They viewed environmental care as an extension of faith, not separate from it.
Fast forward to today. Across the globe, Muslims are reviving this legacy. Eco-mosques are being built with solar panels and green rooftops. Environmental sermons are held every Jum'ah.
Groups like Green Muslims in the US and IFES in the UK are leading global Islamic environmental efforts.
In Indonesia, one of the world's largest Muslim nations, there are eco-pesantren, Islamic boarding schools teaching children to grow food, recycle, and care for the earth. In Turkey and the Gulf, national sustainability plans have included Quranic principles of balance and moderation.
The Prophet ﷺ once said, "The world is green and beautiful, and God has appointed you as stewards over it." Sahih Muslim. This is a timeless call, not just for Muslims, but for humanity. To remember that balance isn't just a scientific issue, it's a spiritual one.
Because when we destroy the earth, we lose part of our soul. And when we protect it, we honor the Creator. Islam is not just a personal religion. It's also a system of ethics and law. Environmental responsibility is embedded in Sharia, the moral and legal framework that governs Muslim life. Islamic jurisprudence, or fiqh, includes specific rulings about land use, pollution, and animal welfare. Scholars over centuries discussed questions like, can you cut down a tree for profit? Can water be privatized? Who owns the wind or the rain?
And they gave powerful answers. For example, land should not be left barren. It should be cultivated or made available to others. Water is a public right. The Prophet ﷺ said, people are partners in three things: water, pasture, and fire. Abu Dawud. Harming the environment or people through pollution or negligence is considered a sin and, in some cases, punishable by law. So, the foundation is there in both faith and law.
The Quran mentions animals over 200 times. Bees, ants, whales, birds, all are communities like ours. Surah Al-An'am 6:38 says, "There is not an animal on earth, nor a bird that flies, except that they are communities like you." This is radical, especially in a time when animals were often seen only as property.
The Prophet ﷺ was known for his mercy to animals. He told people not to overburden their camels. He forbade killing birds for sport. And he told of a woman who entered hell for mistreating a cat, and another who entered paradise for giving water to a thirsty dog.
This shows how Islamic ethics extend far beyond human relationships. To be a good Muslim isn't just about prayer. It's also about how you treat the voiceless, animals, plants, ecosystems.
Today, we face a global crisis. Melting glaciers, burning forests, rising seas, polluted air, and millions of people, especially in the global south, are paying the price.
This is not just a scientific failure. It's a moral failure. And Islam calls on us to act, not with despair, but with hope. The Quran warns against corruption on earth, fasad. Corruption has appeared on land and sea because of what the hands of people have earned. Surah Al-Rum 3:31.
The verse continues, so that they may taste part of what they have done, that they might return to righteousness. This isn't punishment, it's a wake-up call. To return to balance, to return to justice.
It's time for Muslims and all people of conscience to lead with faith. Faith in action, faith in healing.
Across the world, Muslims are stepping up. In Nigeria, imams are teaching climate ethics from the pulpit. In Malaysia, eco-Islam is taught in schools. In Qatar, green mosques use rainwater for gardens.
In Jordan, the Royal Botanical Garden was founded with Islamic conservation principles. In Indonesia, scholars issue fatwas on illegal deforestation. And in East Africa, Muslim women's groups are replanting mangroves and educating their communities about waste reduction.
The message is spreading that protecting nature is worship, that green is the color of the prophet and the earth, that we must walk gently on this earth, as the Quran tells us. And the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth humbly. Surah Al-Furqan 25:63.
This is bigger than Islam. It's about reclaiming a lost truth, that spirituality and sustainability belong together.
What if our climate movements were not just scientific, but also spiritual? What if we remembered that the earth is not a machine, but a living sign of the divine?
Islam teaches that every soul will be held accountable, not just for prayer and fasting, but for how they treated the poor, the land, and future generations. So here's our final message.
Be a guardian, not a consumer. A caretaker, not a destroyer. A believer, not just in heaven, but in earth as a trust.
And remember, when you protect a tree, when you conserve water, when you teach a child to love the stars, you are worshiping, you are building a better world, and you are honoring the Prophet of mercy. Islam doesn't separate the human being from the earth, it binds them together. We are made from clay, sustained by water, and breathe the same air as every living being. The Quran says in Surah Taha 20:55, "From the earth we created you, and into it we will return you, and from it we will bring you forth once again."
This is a powerful reminder. We don't live on the earth, we live of the earth. It's not just our home, it's part of our identity. And if we destroy it, we destroy a part of ourselves.
The Prophet Muhammad taught compassion not only for fellow humans, but for all creatures, because every part of nature glorifies God in its own way. Do you not see that to Allah prostrates whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth, and the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the trees, and the animals? Surah Al-Hajj 22:18.
Some might say, why should Muslims care about environmental justice when there are wars, poverty, and injustice? But that's the point. All these crises are interconnected. Environmental collapse worsens poverty. It fuels displacement. It weakens societies.
Islam doesn't say, choose one issue. It says, be just in all matters. You can pray and plant. You can feed the hungry and protect rivers. They are not in conflict. They're part of the same trust.
To reclaim Islamic ethics for the environment is to decolonize our mindset, to remember that our tradition always cared for the soil, the seasons, and the unseen life beneath our feet.
You might be wondering, what can I do? Here are a few spiritual actions that have a real ecological impact. Reduce waste, because the Prophet hated excess. Support sustainable local food, because Islam promotes halal and tayyib, pure. Conserve energy and water, even in abundance. Plant trees and flowers and make the earth greener. Educate your family, because raising eco-conscious children is a legacy.
Also, advocate for green policies in your masjid and local community. Encourage khutbahs, sermons, that talk about climate change. Volunteer with local environmental initiatives. Practice gratitude for nature, not just in words, but in care. These actions are small, but they echo into eternity.
The Ummah, the global Muslim community, has the numbers, the teachings, and the influence to change the world. What if every mosque turned green? What if every Ramadan we reduced plastic waste? What if Hajj, one of the largest pilgrimages in the world, became a model for sustainable travel?
This is possible. We have the blueprint in our tradition. What's missing is only intention and action.
The Prophet didn't wait for perfect conditions. He acted with sincerity and vision. That's our example.
So, let's not underestimate the impact of one believer planting a seed, changing habits, or educating others. As the Quran says in Surah Al-Zalzala 99:7-8, so whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it.
Dear listener, this planet is not just a gift. It is a test. Will we consume or will we care? Will we dominate or will we serve? Will we follow the footsteps of the Prophet who lived with humility, simplicity, and grace?
Let's make a dua prayer together from our hearts. O Allah, help us be stewards of your earth. Let us walk lightly, give generously, plant hope, and heal what is broken. Make us protectors of your signs, the mountains, the rivers, the birds, and the seeds. And let our faith be action, and our action be light for the world.
May we leave this earth better than we found it. May our children live in shade we planted. And may our deeds echo in the forests, waters, and skies long after we're gone.
Thank you for walking with us through this message. May you carry it forward in your heart, your home, and your community.
Thanks so much for watching this video on Global Ummah Unity. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep uncovering the untold stories of the Islamic world. Together, see you in the next one, inshallah.